Hello everyone. In today's discussion, we will explore another crime, the tragedy caused by jealousy in Costa Rica a few years ago. This incident has been recorded in forensic history as the Gerardo Cruz case, but let's go through the details in chronological order. Samodi Fonsek was born in Costa Rica in February 1975. Little is known about her family in the early years. Her childhood was spent in an area called Cuba, where she lived with her mother, Sonia Fonsek. Samodi attended a local school, and even then, she displayed a difficult and conflicted character. She had little tolerance for rejection and often achieved her goals through force or deception, according to the memories of local residents. Samodi, thanks to her striking appearance and perfect figure, easily captivated men but struggled to keep them. Despite her beauty, she prioritized material wealth and self-interest due to greed and vanity, discouraging potential suitors after short relationships. Additionally, she exhibited intense jealousy and aggression in her youth. Samodi Fonsek, with her doll-like appearance, worked for several years as a Barbie model in one of the large bookstores of the Universal Company. It was during this time that she earned the flattering nickname that stuck with her for life. After graduating from high school, Samodi had a relationship with a successful journalist, Osvaldo Fernando Ballery, who was 16 years older than her. This was her longest and most serious relationship. In 1996, the couple had a son named Christopher, and a year later, their daughter Christina was born. However, due to constant scandals and bouts of jealousy, Samodi's relationship with Ballery ended. In 2012, at the age of 53, Osvaldo suddenly passed away, and it was later revealed that he had not included his former lover in his will. Unwilling to accept this, Samodi took matters into her own hands. She went to Ballery's house, changed the locks, and seized the property, along with some valuable items belonging to the deceased. The Ballery family was outraged, leading them to take legal action against Samodi for theft. Although the police forced her to leave the house, no criminal proceedings were initiated against her at that time. Fonsek had numerous other romances, notably with a man named Miguel Perez, with whom she had her third child, a daughter named Maria. Some reports suggest that this relationship was officially registered but ended in divorce after a few years. However, conflicting sources claim that Samodi was not married at the time. Interestingly, during this period, she gave her youngest daughter her lover's surname without his knowledge or consent. A peculiar fact emerged as some of Samodi's lovers mysteriously disappeared or died under mysterious circumstances. Despite this, for a long time, no significant attention was given to these incidents. For instance, one of Samodi's lovers went missing, and according to relatives, it happened shortly after he decided to end his relationship with the irascible and aggressive lady. To this day, the man has not been found, and many believe that Fonsek is directly linked to this case. However, irrefutable evidence of her guilt could not be found. Another former lover of Samodi, named Diaco, tragically died after their breakup. He was murdered in what appeared to be a failed robbery attempt, and the mysterious killers were never brought to justice. Speculation abounded about Samodi's involvement in the crime, but no concrete evidence was discovered against her. However, her most famous victim was Gerardo Cruz, a native of Costa Rica born in December 1992 in the city of San Jose. He was unaware of his own father because he had left the family before Gerardo's birth. His mother, Ana Patricia, soon married a man named Hermes Rodriguez, who adopted the baby and raised him as his own. A few years later, Gerardo had a younger sister, Milena. The childhood and youth of Gerardo could be characterized as a calm and carefree period. He attended a regular school, had a passion for motorcycles, and early on, he met his true love, a girl named Carol. At the age of 23, Gerardo, along with his chosen one and their 4-year-old daughter Genesis Cruz, settled in the house of his aunt and uncle in the metropolitan suburb of San Sebastian. The young father, Gerardo, took a job at a local bakery to provide for his family's needs. The couple was quite content, and they soon learned about the upcoming addition to their family for the second time in the summer of 2015. During this period, Gerardo encountered Samodi, who occasionally shopped at the bakery where he worked. At that time, Samodi was already 40 years old but remained quite attractive, enjoying wearing bold outfits and flirting. It's noteworthy that as she aged, she began engaging in affairs with much younger men, perhaps finding the attention of younger lovers flattering despite the nearly 20-year age difference. In the presence of a family, Gerardo became infatuated with Samodi and began secretly meeting with her. She started visiting the bakery almost daily to see her young lover, a fact that didn't escape the notice of other employees. Additionally, Samodi often appeared with her eldest daughter, Christina, who was 19 at the time. Initially, Gerardo skillfully balanced family life and secret meetings with his mistress, ensuring none of the women in his life realized the existence of the other. However, he eventually lost his guard. Eager to boast about his success with women, he began sharing details about Samodi with friends and colleagues. Rumors quickly reached his mother, who tried to reason with him and convince him to end the affair. The affair lasted only a few months and ended abruptly in October of the same year, 2015, when Samodi discovered that Gerardo had a pregnant wife and a young daughter. Furious, she began harassing and threatening Gerardo's wife, Carol, through calls and messages. Although Gerardo managed to beg forgiveness from his wife and keep the family together, Samodi didn't take the breakup lightly. Believing she would quickly move on and find a new boyfriend, Gerardo did not realize how insidious and vindictive Samodi would turn out to be. Just a few days after the breakup with Fonsek, Cruz became an accidental witness to a disturbing scene. While walking down a downtown street, he saw an older man trailing behind a young girl, holding his phone in a way that the camera was positioned under her mini skirt. Outraged, Gerardo took out his phone and started filming the incident. He then stopped the girl, informed her of the situation, and advised her to go to the police. Cruz pursued the man for about 2 minutes, loudly questioning if he had been taking inappropriate pictures without the girl's knowledge, until the man jumped into a cab and drove away. That very night, Gerardo posted the video he had captured on his internet page, and within just one night, it went viral. Users quickly identified the elderly man in the video as a former official and an employee of the Ministry of Finance named Luis Solmano Delgado. The video gained traction and was widely circulated by the media. Consequently, Gerardo himself became a national celebrity. The young man found himself in the spotlight, being interviewed almost daily for print publications and receiving invitations to appear on television and radio programs. During these appearances, he discussed the incident he had witnessed, condemned the actions of the former official, and expressed no regrets about his decision to intervene. Simultaneously, experienced lawyers hired by Solmano Delgado initiated legal proceedings against Gerardo, accusing him of wrongdoing. They claimed that the distribution of the videotape, made by Gerardo, violated the law, and they prepared to file a lawsuit against him. Gerardo was surprised by this turn of events and couldn't comprehend why he was being judged, while the man who committed such a reprehensible act against an innocent girl seemed to be escaping legal consequences. Gerardo gave his final interview The identity of one of the men was soon established, as he willingly came forward. Gerardo Cruz, deciding to surrender to the police and cooperate with the investigation in the hope of mitigating his sentence, the man who came forward provided crucial information. This led to the swift identification and apprehension of several other accomplices and the organizers of the crime, including Samodi and her daughter Cristina. All participants were taken into custody, and among them were Ronald Archie, a cab driver who located the perpetrators, Cesar Chavez, a laborer who acted as an intermediary, and Omar Costa, a young miner directly involved in the attack. Omar, who had been tracking the victim's movements on the day of the attack, was also later arrested. The roles and connections of all involved parties were established through phone calls and text messages. Samodi had meticulously planned the crime, involving her daughter, Cristina, in the details of the plan. Together, they sought assistance from Ronald and Cesar to find hitmen to carry out the murder and make it appear as a botched robbery in a night park. Omar was enlisted to ensure the victim arrived at the agreed-upon location. Samodi chose the date, October 7th, and coordinated with all participants, ensuring they followed the plan. After the crime, she demanded that something belonging to the former lover be brought to her as evidence. The main evidence of Samodi's guilt was the detailed text messages outlining the murder plan and the roles of each participant. Surprisingly, Samodi did not delete these messages, displaying a sense of confidence in her impunity. The motive behind this grave crime was banal jealousy. Samodi could not tolerate sharing her lover with his wife and resolved that if he could not be with her, then no one would have him. Both mother and daughter were immediately taken into custody, and bail was ruled out to prevent any attempt to escape. Their accomplices, except for Omar, were also placed in pretrial detention, while the younger participants in the crime were handed over to juvenile justice authorities. The investigation spanned about a year and a half, with the trial of all involved parties beginning in December 2017. It was revealed that Samodi had a criminal history, having been previously arrested for forging documents to receive state payments. However, she received only a fine for this offense. Additionally, the story of Miguel Angel Perez, the father of Samodi's youngest daughter, emerged. Samodi had given the child the surname of a former lover without his consent, and through a falsified court procedure, obtained alimony payments for over 3 years. When the deception came to light, she was sentenced to 3 years in prison and a substantial fine, but the court considered her small child and commuted the sentence to a suspended 5-year term. During the trial, Gerardo's wife admitted knowledge of his affair with Samodi, and the former mistress had threatened him with death. However, he had not taken the threats seriously. The primary motive for the crimes, as mentioned earlier, was the jealousy and wounded pride of Samodi, who couldn't accept that her young lover chose to remain with his wife. Commuted the sentence to a suspended 5-year sentence at the trial. The wife of the murder Gerardo admitted that she knew about his affair with Samodi and the former mistress had threatened him with death, but he did not pay attention to the threats. The main motive of the crimes, as already mentioned, was jealousy and wounded pride of the woman who could not accept the fact that her young lover preferred to stay with his. The records of phone calls revealed that Gerardo's wife and Samodi had planned the crime together. It was also discovered that after the release of the CCTV footage capturing the killers, Cristina had a nervous breakdown. She called her mother in tears, on the verge of confessing to the police. However, Samodi reassured her daughter, claiming that the investigation would never lead to them. The verdict was not announced until January 23, 2018. According to the court's decision, Samodi was sentenced to 30 years in prison, and her daughter, along with Ronald and Cesar, each received 25 years in prison. The killers were sent to a juvenile detention center, and the second killer remained unidentified at that time. Omar, who had been following the victim, was acquitted. The victim's family received $140,000 as moral compensation. After the verdict, the victim's relatives expressed gratitude to the court for the fair punishment of Gerardo's killers. However, it was later revealed that the lawyers of Samodi and Christina had appealed to the appeals court to mitigate the sentences. The new trial occurred in November 2019. Simultaneously, the identity of the second killer became known, who, according to Ronald, participated in the crime but was not privy to the details of the plan. Ronald and Caesar also appealed to the court in the hopes of reducing their sentences. As a result, the sentence for each participant in the crime was reduced by 5 years. Samodi is currently serving her 25-year sentence in one of the women's prisons in Costa Rica. In the summer of 2020, it was reported that she registered a marriage with a woman she met while in prison. Thank you for watching. Please click the subscribe button, like the video, and share your thoughts in the comments.